this is Shio-san. Shio is very popular, very famous influencer in Japan. We are so thankful that she joined us today to experience the center of culture, technology, and finance here, Akihabara. I was trying to explain to him that that's her that's on the billboard on the top of his store, but Japanese people can be very shy. But one thing that's nice about Japanese people, when you present a business card, it's very customary. So let me show you how to do it in Japan, okay? So when you present the business card, you hold it with both hands in.
ありがとうございます。よろしくお願いします。
And it's very customary. And another thing that's really interesting about the Japanese with their customs and their traditions in business is that if you are exchanging a business card with your client, let me show you. I'll get a business card really quickly. And when your client gives you the business card, you give yours lower. So you want your business card to be lower than your client, because if you put your business card above your client, then it's saying I'm better, I'm higher. Thank you, Shio.
Thank you. Yeah, bring
Yes. So we've been learning a lot about the traditions and the cultures of business here in Japan, and it's wonderful. One thing that's important to me and to other blockchain enthusiasts is we want to preserve our traditions and our cultures and our laws. We don't need to create new laws and new traditions. We want to keep those old traditions, such as the business card traditions that are here in Japan, but we want to just modernize them with a payments infrastructure that allows for localized payments as small as 1 cent between participants. What is the goals for the blockchain in the end of this year and next year, and how will that impact operators, and why is that important to understand?
Yeah, so the goal of BSV is to deliver at least 1 million transactions per second at the end of next year. And in order for us to do that, we have to dissociate some of the node features, and it means that as an operator, you will not be able to run a node anymore because it will be too costly to do it. So only miners will have to run their own node, and you will have to make sure that you are using only the SPV methodology thanks to some wallets that are compatible with the SPV. Right? So for every companies who run a node, they should not do it anymore. It's good to do it today because the network doesn't perform a lot of transactions per second, but in the future you won't be able to do it anymore. So that's why we are trying to convince people to run like clients, and like clients will be implemented into the new wallet reference implementation.
Yeah, and 1 million is an important starting point, I agree. But at this level of scalability, you're not just talking about just a blockchain, but really it sounds like what you're talking about is rebuilding the internet itself, and scaling to the point where you can accommodate 10 times the current size of the existing internet, with more accountability, auditability, data security, etc. So can you talk a little bit about the long-term vision of not just establishing a blockchain and a payments network, but also how that relates to a larger goal of rebuilding the infrastructure of the internet itself?
Yeah. So actually that's a good point to always remind, okay, what is the end goal? The end goal of the blockchain technology as a whole is to first rebuild or complete the internet by bringing more transparency, data ownership, and to make sure that we're going to take care about the revolution of value. That's the goal of what we do. But also to rebuild the international payment system to make it cheaper, faster, and more secure. and to have a more inclusive international payment system to allow cross-border payments, for instance, in a cheaper way. Right? That's what we are doing. And the third goal is also to make sure that the different companies working together across the same value chain will be able to work in a more interoperable way, right? And to decrease cost and improve efficiency within the different value chains. So that's the three goals that we are aiming to achieve. So in order for us to achieve these goals, we have to make our mission is quite simple. We have to make sure that the underlying infrastructure of all these the information systems will be able to be cheap, fast, and secure. Today, the BSV blockchain is already one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest blockchain on earth. The mining network fees are at 1 sat per kilobyte, meaning 0.000, so $503. So we cannot go lower, so that's the cheapest on earth. But now the goal is to make sure that compared to other blockchains, and also compared to transaction processor networks such as Visa, for instance, we want to be at least 10 times better. And on our side, what we want is, yes, we want also to build the international system, but we also want to build the internet. So that's why we want to be so high in the number of transactions per second, because we need to have this kind of scalable infrastructure to reach these three objectives.
You know, a lot of people are used to, there's a lot of cash that gets used in Japan. So does your solution have any way where you can hand a payment directly to a merchant? And how is that important to the scalability of the blockchain?
Yeah, so what we are doing is that we are digitizing a lot of different use cases. And when we talk about payments, we're going to digitize the way we pay. It's already the case. You can, when you have your credit card, you have a physical object, but you can pay without contact. The goal, and now with Apple Pay, for instance, you have the ability already to have your credit card within your phone. So that will be the same thing, but instead of having a physical object like a credit card or cash, we're going to digitize the entire payment experience. And instead of having a credit card or Apple Pay, you will have a wallet. And the wallet will be the door to access the blockchain network and to reduce the cost and to make sure that the money will be smarter. That's also one of the advantages of the blockchain technology, is that we're going to make money smarter because of a lot of blockchain capabilities such as the smart contracts, the tokens. You will have the ability to make sure that you can set up some rules about different payments.
Well, I'd love to pivot to somewhat more of a technical question now. So I just bought these fans from this shop, and in the kind of the scenario that you're describing, the shop owner would be able to accept my payment. And do they have to have a lot of information to ensure the validity of my payment, or what is the technical? Do they have to have the block headers or the Merkle roots, or what actually does the shop owner need to check when they're verifying that my payment was made?
Yeah, so that's a really good light client use case actually. So the way the shop owner will have to verify your transaction is that concretely he will just have to have a wallet which will be compatible to the light client and to the SPV, the simplified payment verification, and he will just need to have a block header and the Merkle pass of the transactions. And it's because he would have these two components that he will make sure that these transactions has already been accepted by a node and propagated to the network. And that's enough to prove that the transaction has been validating by both parties.
One of the special parts about being here in Japan is that Japan has a long history of relationship with digital assets. So can you talk a little bit about also the development for Japan specifically in terms of their understanding and the maturity of their understanding of stablecoins and the regulation necessary for that, but also generally about how you're feeling governments in general are starting to see the value proposition?
Yeah. So actually, the reality is that all the different countries in the world are currently fighting to bring the best regulation to attract the different companies building on the blockchain technology. So a lot of countries missed the Silicon Valley, and now they don't want to miss the Crypto Valley. This means that especially the financial regulation authority has to bring the best regulation. It doesn't mean no regulation, because if you don't have any regulation, that's not good for an ecosystem, it's not healthy. So you have governments and the financial bodies has to bring the right regulation to allow innovation, because that is also the state of our industry, but also a framework allowing the different stakeholders and finally the users to protect users, right? So that's the balance to find, and I think that around the world, the different regulatory body, they are all working towards this objective. I know that Switzerland, the FINMA has put in place a good regulation a few years ago. That was one of the first financial authority to set up such a regulation. I know that the Japan industry is also working in bringing a regulatory framework which will allow companies to build innovative products by protecting the user at the end. So that's the current state of the different debates regarding the regulation. And again, what we want at the BSV blockchain is to make sure that we are also providing educational material to decision maker, part of the different regulatory body, because what we want is we want regulation, but we want the right way.
One of the beautiful things about Tokyo and about Japan is the importance of tradition. We learned a lot about tradition on this trip, and what's important to us is ensuring that this tradition that has been built up for centuries, it remains. We don't want to replace tradition, we just want to create a better payment experience, a smoother layer for businesses, for merchants, for governments to exchange with each other. Not just exchange money, not just exchange monetary value, but exchange data, information, and keep that data and information private, secure, and working on behalf of the participants. We want to make sure that data is not being just thrown around all over the place where people's personal data can get exposed. We don't want that. We want data to remain private and personal, and if you exchange that data with someone, you have a right to exchange it just with them. You don't have to have your data go everywhere. That's important to the reasons and the value that blockchain represents for this next phase of the digital revolution. Tokyo is a cultural epicenter, and we see the exchange of value all over the place. All up and down these streets, there's exchange of music, exchange of DVDs, movies, and blockchain technology is an important next step in the evolution of content creators. For people that are creating their content, like Superstar Shio, or all of this world's creators, we're seeing that the blockchain can enable a seamless payment experience between the fans of these superstars and the superstars themselves, the content creators. And it can get monetized in small amounts. So, if you really like someone's special dance move, then you can give them 1 penny for that, Yeah. And that's such a unique thing that only blockchain can enable. As we create a smoother payment experience for fans and the content creators, what we have is the experience to more fully, authentically express ourselves. And we can get rewarded for expressing ourselves in our own unique ways, as opposed to in a homogenized way that gets approved by, the payments centers, the centers that be, the powers that be, they a lot of times people get forced to adopt behaviors that maybe are inconsistent with what they want to express in the world, but they have to do that because they need to be able to earn a living. And in order to earn a living, you need to adopt these certain behaviors and certain norms. We want to allow people to express themselves fully and to be able to monetize that through micropayments and through a direct experience and a direct exchange of value between fans and superstars. Like Shio!
Japanese TCG show.
Yeah, Japanese TCG shop. Yeah, well, one of the things that we presented here was Champions TCG. Champions TCG is a TCG, but it's a digital TCG. Unlike some of these others like Hearthstone or like Magic the Gathering, Arena, and things like this, when players earn cards on that platform, it remains on that platform in a database. Whereas by leveraging the powers of blockchain, we can free these cards and they can be within our own possession. And I can trade one of my cards right to Shio. And we can play the game against each other. And I can sell my cards, I can monetize what I'm interested in. And that's what we want to do for the world. Many different people have many different interests, and we want to allow them to earn and express that interest and to be able to follow whatever their passion is. And we live in a world where you have to make money in order to survive. But why not allow your people to earn from what they're truly passionate about? That's the unique value proposition of blockchain. Ken, talk to me about what you've been developing with your simplified token verification protocol.
Okay, my name is Ken Sato. I'm CEO of the YenPoint. I'm developing a simplified token verification protocol, which basically allows to scale the token solution on the BSV network. Before, we had a problem of the validating token on the BSV without trusted third party. We couldn't really validate token well, so we needed to have an indexer or consigner to validate the token. But that works okay for temporary with small scale, but in the future we're gonna scale to like millions and billions people. We needed to better solution, and also we needed solution to work with SPB. So this protocol allow us to handle the tokens, all different kind of tokens, NFT or stable coins or CBDC on this SPB wallet. And I think we can help to all the wallet to start adapting this great technology, and we can scale the network as possible, and then we can start adoption of the Bitcoin network. We are planning to issue stablecoin in Japan because the Japanese regulation, Japanese government just established the stablecoin regulation this year, and we can start making legal stablecoin in Japan, and we're working on a token solution as well. So I think it's a good time to start the this stablecoin thing in Japan.
Great. And the Japanese regulatory bodies are really far advanced, I think, in terms of the rest of the world, and in terms of understanding and adopting sensible regulation and sensible law and policy that relates to this, and including there's 3 different ways that the stablecoin can be deployed. Some of those, they have pros and cons, and the one that you've chosen is the consortium model. Can you talk about the 2 versions and what the cons are with that version, and why the consortium model is the best?
So we have 3 models. Like, one is the bank deposit model, and 2 is the money transfer base, and the last one is a trusted bank base. And then we're gonna choose the trusted bank base. Basically, we're gonna use the trust bank, and we're gonna deposit money, and then trusted bank going to issue the stable coin, and they're gonna make sure that deposit. If you deposit 1 million yen, they're gonna issue 1 million stable coin, and then that's a regulation. But if this is people who wants to ask to the bank, could be one company or consortium of people. If we have hundreds of companies who has a lot of users or business already behind, get together to issue the stable coin, I think we can reach a lot of users in the fast place.
One of the things I've noticed from being here is the tradition of this place. You still see a lot of people handling cash. Cash is still very, very important in Japan. One of the unique elements of your YenPoint is that you can still use a cash model, but you can use that with micropayments. Can you talk a little bit about how micropayments and using digital cash fits nicely in with the traditional scope of Japan?
I think people really like cash here. I think it's one reason is that it's turn around very quickly. You get that, if you receive the cash, you can use it in that moment. So stablecoin on the blockchain can, provide the same kind of benefit to the consumer or business for receiving money. So I think that's a great part of the benefit of stablecoin. Also, the stablecoin can be used for micropayment, especially for online, like online game, NFT. People can buy the digital goods with like 10 cents, 20 cents, but that like now we're using a BSV to doing that. But once we have a stable coin, we can transact on yen, and then most of people in Japan, looking for yen for business to spend. Everybody, that's a legal tender here. So once you can, allow people to transact micro payments, a lot of people going to do, buy your NFT. I think that's going to happen.
Great. And then one of the unique elements of the simplified token verification protocol is that it's not a token itself. It's just a method by which the token is able to be verified. So can you talk about some of the different ways that is a benefit in terms of being able to, verify different types of tokens, whether it's one-sat ordinals or other types of tokens? And then also, can you talk a little bit about how it works from a technical overview?
Yeah, so exactly, it's right. This protocol is not the token protocol, it's a verification protocol. It can be used by most of the token solution available right now. It can be tokenized, it can be ordinals, it can be stars token. How are we going to solve this problem for the verification of the Bitcoin is that we're going to send a chain of transactions. In order to verify the Bitcoin token on the Bitcoin network is that you have to go through each transaction back to the genesis, token genesis. And but the Bitcoin has the native function to connecting these transactions by hash chain, other hash chain. So if that's an ancestor transaction, it's all connecting. So you can prove that last transaction is in the block. Then all of this you can verify. Nobody can forge it. So you can go through Bob, Alice hand out the chain transaction, and Bob verifies all the transaction, of the history of transaction back to Genesis, and then that way, you can make sure that token is correct, because miner doesn't really check that.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for letting our audience know what's been going on with YenPoint, and how can they learn more about YenPoint, and how can they get in touch with you about the simplified token verification protocol?
We have a website, YenPoint.jp. We talk about about YenPoint. Also, follow my Twitter, Uncle_Nakamoto. I'm always on the Twitter, or X, I guess. So I'm going to talk about that in the simplified token verification protocol over there. So if you are interested, I can send it to details. So let me know.
Well, it's been such a joy and a pleasure getting to meet you, getting to know you, and learning about what you're building. I have one last question for you. I think there's a really natural fit between what you're building and the model of SPV and the light client. So can you talk about the importance and the value in leveraging the tools of the light client to provide a simple token verification process?
So our protocol, well, first of all, we need to have a light client, which is a SPV node, to scale this network. The conventional way doesn't allow us to scale the network, so we have to switch to the light client, right? So something our token solution, verification protocols allow that is that give you incentive to start using SPV model. Token itself, if you want to use it, stable token, you have to use the light client. If you have to use YenPoint stablecoin, you have to use the light client. So we're gonna give some incentive for more user or company to start using light client.
Well, thank you so much, Ken-sama. I respect you very much, and you are a wonderful, embodiment of innovation here in Japan, showing people the power of blockchain. And thank you so much for hosting us all week long, and for teaching our viewers about YenPoint.
Thank you very much.
How important is the Japanese market, and what are the unique aspects of the Japanese market and the Asia Pacific market when it comes to technology consulting?
Okay, as you know, Japanese company has a good culture. Before they adopt new innovation, they will run everything in detail. So it is not easy for them to come to the new industry. Hence, going to work with Keio University. Let's say Keio University is one of the very prominent university in Japan. So as you know, when you land in Japan, you get Japanese yen, right? So this is the most expensive Japanese yen note. So this gentleman, who is this gentleman? Yukichi Fukuzawa. Actually, he is the founder of Keio University. So Keio University has a lot of power in Japan, and then we can say, we are working with Keio University, and then lot of banks and consulting firms, the big companies, will start to look into our technology. Actually, Deloitte Consulting and DXC Technology, which is one of 500 Fortune company, join our workshop with Keio University. In addition, Mr. Masuda, who is a partner lawyer from Mori Hamada Matsumoto legal firm, this is top 4 legal firm in Japan. Actually, he is advisor to Japanese company for blockchain and Web3 space. Actually, he recognized our technology, and he would like to work with us. So it is very easy for us to capture new audience from blue chip company. I think this is a good start for us.
That's wonderful. Thank you again for hosting us so much.
Yeah.
I have one final question for you, Masumi. Over the next 5 years, what do you think are the 3 most important things that need to happen? In what order to see BSV succeed in adoption?
Okay, good question. Thank you so much. So for me, one of the top one is to get the actual use case, to engage with government. So let's say once government adopts BSV technology and nChain knowledge, I think other companies will start to adopt our product and technology. So I plan to approach to local government in Japan with Keio University FinTech Center. So I think this is one of my plan. A second one, I would like to work with big consulting firm like Deloitte and DXC Technology. Actually, they are facing big blue chip company in Japan. However, they don't have a solution such as blockchain. So they will handle a client requirement, and they will handle the process of the project, and then nChain and the BSV Association can provide solution to them. And then we can take a role as a consultant as well. I think once we get such a partnership with them, I think we can expand our business very fast. The third one, not is Japanese company who adopt our technology, and then we can say, oh, we make innovation from the land of rising sun. After that, we can get the deal from other Asian countries. So this is what I would like to do. Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. I spent a week out here in Tokyo. My head's still spinning. I had so much fun. I want to thank Masumi Hamahira. I want to thank Ken Sato. I want to thank Thomas Giacomo for being on our show. And thank you to everyone out there in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Thank you to all of our partners. Thank you to CoinGeek. Thank you to the BSV Association. We're out here because of our belief in this vision of an economic freedom brought to the world, enabling micropayments, enabling data authenticity, data ownership, accountability, integrity, security, all of these things that are going to form, as Thomas Giacomo mentioned, the next wave of the internet, or completing the internet. It's a big task, but we need your help to do it. So make sure you sign on to our socials, follow us on X, follow us wherever, follow my show, Bitcoin Builders with the BSV Association. I want to thank you for being a part of this movement. And yeah, reach out to us, get involved, follow the Discord, and guys, thank you. We'll catch you on the flip side.